To begin with, I would like to clarify some notions used in the title of the talk. So post-digital, and then say a few words about glitches. Then we will proceed with analyzing specific case studies, namely glitches in Google Maps, Earth, and Apple Maps. And please bear in mind that ideas presented here are still a rather work in progress material, so any comments or suggestions are more than appreciated. The aim is to incorporate this component into my PhD dissertation. So around 15 years ago, the term post-digital was used by Kim Casconi. He described in his article how digitalization of the music production workflow has changed the very principles of this creative process. He focused on abnormalities, errors, and glitches in electronic produced music. But lately, a new social technological context has emerged, being a direct result of the latest developments in computational technologies, the IoT, the cloud, big data, on-demand services, wearables, and of course, the mighty figure of Edward Snowden. So these developments have fundamentally changed not only the technological landscape, but also its social, economical, and cultural impact. So according to the second wave of the advocates of the post-digital, their term does not describe an era which is no longer formed by the presence of computational technologies. Quite the opposite. Is rather interested in emphasizing the fact that the digital revolution has already taken place, and through the latest innovations in the age of autonomous systems, ubiquitous computing, networks, and clouds, the digital has been even more embedded with us and the environment. So in the post-digital era, computation becomes experimental, spatial, and materialized in its implementation. The distinction between being online and being offline has become problematic. Yeah. So the post-digital in its simplest sense describes the messy, the term itself is quite messy, but the messy state of media, arts, and design after the digitalization, or at least the digitalization of crucial aspects of the channels through which they are communicated. So the post-digital is therefore interested in assessing the consequences by locating, conceptualizing, and critically examining various manifestations of the post-digital condition in society, culture, economy, etc. So Florian Kramer compares the post-digital to other post-like notions like post-punk, post-communism, post-feminism, all those post-X, emphasizing that the crucial difference between the initial appearance of the idea or movement as its post-version is that it has progressed from a discrete breaking point into an ongoing condition. So in Heideggerian terms, it would be from Ereignis to being. It also covers the shift from an early moment driven by an almost obsessive fascination and enthusiasm with new media to a broader set of affectations that now includes unease, fatigue, boredom, and disillusionment. Yeah, this is the post-digital at a glance based on Florian Kramer's taxonomy, but we should proceed. Okay, so now we're closing to the part with glitches. So glitches can be claimed to be a manifestation of genuine software aesthetics. As they reveal the computational nature of the digital image, glitches allow us to break away from the screen-centric approach and make the softwarization of the digital image clearly visible. The glitch being a direct and natural result of an algorithmic error, unveils the degree of the software's influence on the aesthetics of digital image. So glitches are more than just a manifestation of a coding error or the result of inputted data from the user, but are both an opportunity and an encouragement for us to reconsider the myth of total immediacy of computational imagery, particularly when images are perceived as elements enclosed in software ecosystems or as parts of software structures such as graphical user interfaces. So the very notion of mediation is important because it creates a dialectical relationship between user and object, necessitating interaction or at the very least reaction. So glitches allow us to see the grain of computation, as David Berry would say. Glitch aesthetics emerges as a transmedia, or better, a medium-neutral abnormal momentum, which takes the user beyond a carefully designed modus operandi of each and every medium. In high-resolution photography, the glitch aesthetics would manifest itself by a pixelated or broken, so partially displayed image. In video, the glitches would be seen as compression artifacts. In real-time web-based media and interfaces, the glitches would result in partial or incorrect display of icons, data, of icons and data streams. So Berry emphasizes the importance of glitches for bringing to the forefront the layered nature of computational technologies. However, their role is even more significant for representing breaks in the continuity of post-digital media and software. Berry argues that glitch ontology is one of the many manifestations, so code, software, or ubiquitous systems of a specific civilizational condition, which is a result of an increasing presence of the digital. This is the notion of computationality, and it's also quite important for the argument here. That's why I'm talking about it. But we should proceed. Yeah. So glitch studies as a micro-temporal ontology of the computational. So the logic of immediacy of the computational has prevailed even more in the age of ubiquitous computing, cloud-based and multi-device ecosystems. The ultimate readiness to hand is a necessary condition of their actual interoperability and versatility. They are perfect tools as long as they stay in the shadow. As soon as they break down or a visible glitch occurs in any node of the system, particularly near to the end user, in graphical user interfaces, for instance, the tool becomes present at hand. Heidegger points out that this situation causes concern among users. I mean, would say, because there were no users there. Yeah. So I'm going to just briefly present three notions coined by Heidegger. So Heidegger uses three different notions to describe the specific conditions of things when they reveal their presence at hand through unique unreadiness to hand. The modi of conspicuousness, obtrusiveness, and obstinacy. So they introduce a micro-temporal context, an epistemic condition that through the state of failure allows us to apprehend the characteristic of presence at hand, a handiness that is usually masked by a perfect functioning of the equipment. So how many of you are familiar with this notion, just to with those three notions coined by Heidegger? Okay, so we should proceed, or risk to proceed. So just there are three variations, and I'd like to focus on obstinacy, because this is the most interesting for the glitch part. So the last variation of unreadiness to hand is the state of obstinacy. It's encountered when it stands in the way of our concern and interrupts our activities. Anything which is unready to hand in this way is disturbing to us and enables us to see the obstinacy of that with which we must concern ourselves in the first instance before we do anything else. If we were to study glitch in the light of obstinacy, we could claim that a glitch is an unexpected deviation from intended functioning of a computational system which prevents the user from completing the task in a usual manner. However, the state of obstinacy does not mean a complete failure of or the breaking continuity of a narrative in the post-digital media, but it also does not make the file for instance the file completely unusable, nor make the context of a video unwatchable. Similarly, glitches in displaying elements of graphical user interfaces or image artifacts in web-based services, such as Google Earth or Apple Maps, do break the immediacy of a particular tool, challenging the seamless interaction and perfect visual representation paradigms. But the tool as a whole itself is still functioning. So just to move forward from a general phenomenology, I would like to turn to concrete cases following the post-phenomenology approach advocated, for example, by ID or by Verbex, and analyze. So Google Earth, Apple Maps, and similar services are clearly post-digital phenomena. They are multi-interface, multi-source real-time data. They are often based on crowdsourced data. From the other perspective, they would be seen as a perfect surveillance tool. So I think there's no argue that those services could be analyzed in the post-digital spirit, let's say. Okay, so this slide presents several types of errors rather than glitches. This is quite important, that were incorporated into first version of Apple Maps in the iOS 6. We have an artificial or non-existing university in the UK. This should be quite interesting to you. We have incorrect conversion of a classic maps to examples from Finland, or wrong time display of Big Ben clock tower. We have different hours here. These and similar glitches that were analyzed by artists like Clement Valla, computer professionals like Peter Norby, or designers like Charlie Berens. But I would like to draw your attention to two bottom pictures. These ones are examples of an intriguing example of glitches as they fall into a Heideggerian category of obstinacy. They stand in a way of our concern and interrupt our Google Maps or Apple Maps experience. They break the immediacy of the software tool, challenge those seamless interaction, perfect visual representations, paradigms. But the tool itself, as a whole, it's still functioning. So we are somewhere in between those two binary states of working and not working. So Clement Valla is a New York-based artist who critically analyzed glitches in Google Earth, which resulted in the universal texture and postcards from Google Earth artworks. So according to Valla, Google uses a universal texture mapping system which uses hybrid images, a patchwork of two-dimensional photographic data and three-dimensional topographic data extracted from a slew of sources, like data mined, pre-processed, blended, and then merged in real time in order to create this particular godlike fluid planetary navigation systems. So Google Earth is essentially a database disguised as a photographic representation, a perfect example of a tool used in a software society, as Vannevar would say. And so Vala argues that these phenomena are not actually glitches. They may manifest themselves as error at an aesthetic level, but are not glitches per se from the algorithmic perspective. He argues that dropping roads and bridges are not in fact mere errors, but rather anomalies within an inner logic of the computational systems. These anomalies offer a glimpse into the data collection and assembly. They bring the diverging data sources to light. In these anomalies, we understand there are competing inputs, competing data sources, and so the world is not so fluid as Google Earth would like to see it. And clearly, these glitches do not lead to a complete breakdown of Google Earth. So it would be a perfect example of Heideggerian obstinacy. And then Vala argues that the universal texture is basically an automated statistical universal database that creates a representation that selectively chooses its data. The software edits, reassembles, processes, and packages reality in order to form a very specific and useful model of it. So these images are created by an algorithm that finds nothing wrong in these moments. They are less a creation than a kind of a fact. Representations of the laws of the universal texture algorithm as a collection, the anomalies are a weird natural history of Google Earth software. Sorry, I just want to check. Yeah, it places. Okay. So many glitches that appear in contemporary visual media are symptomatic for the technologies of the post-digital age. I would argue that they reveal the very fragility of interconnected computational systems in today's world. Software and tools of the post-digital era are based on dynamic, ever-changing data from a myriad of different sources, which are endlessly combined and constantly updated to create an illusion of seamless interaction, perfect automation, and data representation. So Google Earth and Apple Maps are an example of such a system, an interface for the assemblage of data coming from various stakeholders and sources. And there is, of course, a whole area of political and social consequences of such a situation that was partly covered in some of the previous talks. So navigation services that were analyzed in the presentation are based on sets of constantly updated data. And what is quite important, Vala claims that many of these glitches had disappeared from the system due to improvements in the algorithms, or as a result of a direct human intervention. So he claims that progress in the universal texture algorithm, it promises to give us a smooth and continuous 24-hour cloudless daily world, increasingly free of any anomalies, outliers, or statistical inconsistency. So the post-digital era is marked by the logic of constant, seamless, and equally obfuscated updates, which do not longer take place at the interface level. Today's cloud-based and ubiquitous computing systems, such as Google or Facebook algorithms, are being constantly rewritten and updated, often without users' knowledge. I would say that noticing, analyzing, and archiving glitches in the ever-changing today's technologies is one of the few practices that enables us to critically reflect on development of flux technologies of today's age. It's 90 minutes, 59 seconds. Thank you very much.